Hello, everyone. You're listening to Random Sage with Maryann from Revealing Light. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for being here while I do these podcasts. As I've said, I enjoy doing them each week. Today, I want to look at something completely different. During, I think it was last week or the week before, I got asked a question by a viewer. Why was I wearing a cross, a gold cross? I wear that, or have started wearing it more recently, along with a heart-shaped pendant with the word mum written on it. I have been wearing a cross on and off over the years, over the decades, and I picked this heart-shaped pendant up after my mother passed in 2010, just to remind me of her, and that I keep her close to my heart. The viewer says, don't you think this is a bit of a contradiction that you're wearing a gold cross and you're throwing tarot cards? And I say back to that viewer, says who? Says you? Why are you judging me? Maybe keep what is that biblical verse? He who casts the first stone. Maybe you should look at your own what you're doing with your faith, because faith and belief and the reasons why we believe and what we believe is entirely an individual thing. That's why we have a separation of powers in politically in our democracies. The church is separate from the government or the state. Many forget that. Many want to drag us all in to their beliefs. And I'll say this. I'll answer why I wear a cross as well as a heart-shaped pendant. The cross, I was raised as a Catholic in the Catholic Church. I was baptized as a Catholic, and I went to a Catholic school, and I went to church all through my childhood and young adulthood, and indeed various points in my life I've been coming and going from church. However, the thing that has not turned me into what they call a practicing Catholic is the dogma and the rules that all churches have. And so I gravitate toward the freedom to believe in God or spirit, but also not to have the dogma or the judgment or the hell and brimfire that often comes with Christianity, I guess, shoved down my throat. And so I would describe myself more as a spiritual person now, not subscribing to any particular church or not subscribing to any particular belief or reasons for doing things. So why do I wear a cross, which is mostly associated with the sacrifice in Orthodox religion of Jesus on the cross? Well, it has a lot to do with how I see those sacrifices. This cross is a symbol of sacrifice and service to others. This is a symbol also in spiritualism or in the way that I look at things, because even I am not a member of a spiritual church. I'm just me, and I believe in what I believe in. A cross has long been associated with protection, and in that way it functions like what I would describe as an amulet. The Native Americans would have protection amulets. Those who collect crystals understand the vibration of the protection stones like obsidian, tourmaline, onyx. This cross to me functions like an amulet of protection, but it also reminds me of sacrifice and service to others. The heart-shaped pendant functions in a similar way, yet it doesn't look like it doesn't look like a cross. Has nothing to do. It's a heart. Has nothing to do with any religion. And yet it functions in the same way as that cross. It not only reminds me of the service and sacrifice that my mother made in her lifetime to her children, and the love that she provided. I also know that my mother watches over me. I know that she's the one that touches my hair all the time. She's with me in times of trouble. to lend strength. In fact, all our loved ones are. So we have many ways of expressing love, desiring protection. But I, in general, use to commemorate, to protect, and to remind me of love. I think that sums up both of these necklaces. And I guess, I'm wearing the cross just to stick it to people and say, well, that's your judgment. That's not necessarily mine. So religions are by their nature dogma, rules and judgments. And I chose, as I said, not to place my belief in this dogma. At the same time, I don't discount the appearance through history, and indeed it's happening now, of prophets, of those who predicted, whether it was in the biblical sense or whether you're looking at someone like Nostradamus or Edgar Cayce. That they were there as those that brought forward prophecies, if you want to use an old-fashioned word. I don't discount their existence. Also don't discount that they were persecuted, and some died for merely trying to heal and help others. Much of the Bible, or all of the Bible, as I know it, was written by men. And I know these are human beings, men. Some indeed were divinely inspired. I've no doubt of that. Yet it is quite contradictory in many parts. And so often I will get viewers quoting verses of the Bible saying I'm going to hell because I'm predicting, and that, and that obviously triggers them as well. How can she be both? How can she present this belief, that may be outlined in the 10 Commandments, if you want to go there, which are, kind of tenets, if you like. If you break it down, if you get beyond the dogma, it's very simple. Love one another. Do unto others as you would do unto them. Very simple rules. It's the same thing that a spiritually minded person would say. Try not to do harm to anybody. Try not to do harm to yourself. Love is the highest expression of our spirituality. The afterlife is love, pure love. The Creator lives within us. I know that religion says that the Holy Spirit is within us all. Many similarities. One, it's my rule and my rule only and no other rules. And the other, let's be open about this. Let's be adults in the room. We're saying the same thing. We're just not saying, if you don't believe in this, you can't be around me. I don't want you anywhere near me. And yet, religion preaches forgiveness, and in spirituality, the desire, the goal is always to have compassion for others, to put yourself in their shoes so that you can find forgiveness, so that you can evolve, so that you don't create any more karma, so that you don't have to be attached to something that you're putting your attention on. If I go to particular parts of the Bible, I just get contradiction. I know many can give me plenty of parts of the Bible that says that witchcraftery, or whatever the word is that they used, will rain down hell and brimstone upon you and you will go straight to hell. Yet other parts say that you have a duty to use your spiritual gifts, that you have a duty, if you have a gift of prophecy, to use that. Which is it? I think it's a bit of a bet each way. Corinthians 14, 1-5. Pursue love and earnestly desire the spiritual gifts, especially that you may prophesy. For one who speaks in a tongue speaks not to men but to God, for no one understands him, but he utters the mysteries in the Spirit. On the other hand, the one who prophesies speaks to people for their upbuilding and encouragement and consolation. The one who speaks in a tongue builds up himself, but the one who prophesies builds up the church. Builds up the church. Is this a protection for their own rabbis and priests? You have a duty to use your gifts. Timothy 1:6-7. For this reason I remind you to fan into flame the gift of God, which is in you through the laying on of my hands. For God gave us spirit, not fear, but of power and love and self-control. That one's a bit, I'd have to unpack that. Peter 4:10-11, as each has received a gift, use it to serve one another as good stewards of God's varied grace. Whoever speaks as one who speaks oracles of God. Whoever serves as one who serves by the strength of God. It just goes on and on and on. I can keep going. Ephesians 4:11-16, and he gave the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the shepherds and teachers to equip the saints for the work of ministry, for building up the body of Christ until we all attain to the unity of faith and the knowledge of the Son of God. It goes on. Let's have a look. It speaks of miracles, prophets, and then, okay. Corinthians 12:26-31. I'll stop in a minute. Now are the body of Christ and individually members of it, and God has appointed in the church first apostles, second prophets, third teachers, then miracles, then gifts of healing, helping, administrating, and various kinds of tongues. So speaking in tongues is okay in the Bible, yet a spiritualist a trance medium might speak the way whoever they're channeling might speak. Are all prophets, are all apostles, are all teachers, do all work miracles, do all possess gifts of healing, do all speak with tongues, do all interpret, but earnestly desire to higher gifts. Prophecy's mentioned a lot, particularly in Corinthians. Use your gifts, including that of prophecy. Use your gifts. We all arrive at the same place. It's the judgments, I guess, that start to assign hell and brimfire for prophesizing or predicting outside of the church, and you're doing God's work by predicting and prophesizing within the church. The aim is to lead people to believe in a higher creator that is within us, that lives within us. A loving creator, spirit, God, whatever you want to call it. So that's why I wear a cross, or will for the moment. I might take it off in a few weeks, but I felt the urge to put it on. And of course, I listen to my intuition. I want to see, will there come a time when, I think John Lennon said, one religion, two religions are so responsible for divisions between Muslims, divisions between Jews, divisions between Catholics, Protestants, spiritual practitioners, witches, and Orthodox churches, the Inquisition, the person or people that leave terribly horrible comments wishing me to hell and back again for doing the work of Satan in predicting the future, in stimulating my gift, my spiritual gift by images which depict life. That's all the tarot cards are. but in the hands of a clairvoyant, someone with spiritual gifts, they then become a tool for prophecy. Right, John Lennon. John Lennon, where are you, John Lennon, when we need you? And of course, he too became a sacrifice. That what is the song that you remember most is Imagine. Imagine all the people. Imagine world living as one, and one religion too. We ever this idealistic dream of John Lennon's. Some people carry with them the amulet of money. Is what I'm seeing or hearing. The amulet of money. That's their protection. That's where they put their love, including those within the church, particularly evangelical. Well, I shouldn't generalize, but some evangelical churches, particularly in America, we've had many on charges, financial and other charges. Okay, so will there be a time when we have more religious tolerance around the world, whether that's in 10, 20, 30, 50 years, or do we have to keep repeating the same cycles? Will we ever get to a greater religious faith, belief, tolerance? Will we ever get there? Okay, so we have the Two of Cups, unity and love between two. And of course, again, I'm reminded, then we get the restriction card. I'm reminded that there are marriages of different faiths and different beliefs. But we get when love is restricted. And that's the bottom line. That's the purpose of this podcast. It's when love is restricted. I love you no less if you choose to wear, for whatever your reasons, a gold cross and a heart-shaped pendant in unison with each other for the same sorts of reasons. Restricting and holding back love. And we get the High Priestess, intuition. Will we ever get toward greater tolerance? I think also a spiritual movement that allows all faiths, all beliefs, all religions, all freedoms, freedom to believe in God, in however way you express that. Even a white witch doing her work believes in a creator, believes in spirit. The shaman, greatly influenced, connected to earth, the natural world, believes in a creator of the natural world. The higher realms, the afterlife, the spiritual world, the middle realm, earth, and the lower realms, of course, is negativity. In the past, we get the Prince of Swords, the truth. Yes. We all think we've got the truth, don't we? We all think we've got it nailed down, so to speak. But whose truth are you speaking or seeking to impose? The star is the hope, and this is the quintessential John Lennon song, isn't it? It was always about hope. Hope in the future. Intention. I have hope. And that is so important. I keep saying this time and time again in these podcasts. The Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles. Dogma and, we all know that religious dogma, religious fanaticism is shrinking as more people don't identify with any particular religion. I think it's only a third in Australia that identifies with religion formal religion, 2/3 don't. Yet I could go to all, most of those people who aren't practicing any sort of church-like worship, and they will still say, yes, of course I believe in God or spirit, Buddha or whatever. The Eight of Pentacles, do your work, whatever gifts you've been given, do your work, and justice. What has been taken away will be given back. This is quite hopeful. It's almost as if faith will be the expression of faith and belief will be an individual thing, and it's one that we've all got to work on. How are you expressing? How are you practicing your faith, and how are you expressing it? Because the hypocrisy and the ironical expression of faith that doesn't have tolerance or compassion in it is not. This is why people are turning away. It just isn't. We hear it, it's falling. The truth is falling on our ears. The King of Swords in the hopes and fears. Well, what is the plan? How do we formalize this? How do we create our own church and then again do the same things? I think some spiritual churches are guilty of this as well. And then we get deception as the outcome card, clarified by the Hermit. And this is where this is why hope is so real, because we are hearing the deception. We are hearing the deception, and those that deceive are more and more isolated, and we are going to be moving toward greater emotional maturity, where we take responsibility for what we believe in, where we don't look to somebody else to tell us what to believe or how to believe, where we have maturity and love and faith. And the Six of Wands, victory. Maturity, love, it will win in the end. Those that seek to deceive will lose and be isolated. They will diminish. And there is hope in that. Because if the technological revolution has brought us anything, it's brought us the ability to find information very quickly, to receive information very quickly, and of course, to receive the truth. And so the lies are exposed, the hypocrisy is exposed, but the truth is exposed. So today, wear whatever you like to express yourself, your beliefs, your faith. Stop getting caught up and tripped over by dogma. Live and let live. All right. And be happy, joyful, and celebrate. Let's all agree to celebrate God, to celebrate Spirit, to celebrate Lord Buddha, Goddess, whoever, whatever you call it, the Creator. For me, it's Spirit. Let's celebrate the same thing, and that's the presence of love and a loving Creator, a loving Spirit in our lives. All right, that's it for now. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back again soon with another podcast. You're listening to Random Sage with Maryann from Revealing Light.